Hey everyone, welcome back to POL SCI 935, Computational Social Science. This week is our last substantive session before we turn our focus to your final projects. And as our fifth workshop session, we have two separate topics that we're going to talk about this week. The first one is a topic that you requested in previous weeks, namely difference in difference designs as a strategy for causal identification. The second topic that I wanted to talk about is pre-registration, and that's what I'm going to focus on in the videos that I'm uploading this week. To get started, let's look at your to-do list for this week. As always, the tasks to complete before our next Q&A session on Wednesday are a couple. The first one is to read the Angrist and Pischke Mostly Harmless Econometrics chapter 5, which focuses on difference in difference designs. So that will cover a lot of the basics of difference in difference designs that we haven't talked about in so much detail in previous sessions. Okay. Then, in addition, I already included links on Canvas to a great set of lecture videos recorded by Andrew Heiss, who has a policy evaluation class that is online. And one of the sessions in this policy evaluation class is particularly on difference in difference designs. Those videos are really great. They include practical like a practical R-focused introduction as well, and he goes through a couple of examples, and I can really recommend those videos. And I couldn't do them better, so I figured I'll just link those videos on Canvas as well. So make sure to check those out in conjunction with the Angrist and Pischke chapter 5 readings. There's also some additional material and some lecture code that Andrew provides, and I link that on Canvas as well. So make sure to check those out. Then moving on to the second topic for our workshop this week, you have two academic readings. First is Gerber and Malhotra, 2008, Do Statistical Reporting Standards Affect What is Published? Publication Bias in Two Leading Political Science Journals. That's a really interesting article, and we're going to discuss that in our Q&A session. The second article that we're going to discuss in our Q&A session is Humphreys and co-authors, Phishing, Commitment, and Communication, a proposal for comprehensive non-binding research registration, which focuses more on pre-registration as a way to solve some of the issues related to publication bias, related to phishing, related to the Garden of Forking Paths, and so on. Okay, so we're going to discuss those two chapters, those two articles in our Q&A session, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit in these videos, of course. Then, in addition to those readings, I also included some links on Canvas to two pre-registration platforms that are quite common not only in political science, across social science and beyond. Well, EGAP is a platform that focuses particularly on political science and provides a registry for studies and research designs online that you can check out, and you can look at some of the pre-registrations that have been published there. And then there's osf.io, which is more general, not only social sciences, but a general pre-registration registry that you can also check out. And I also included one example of a pre-registration of my own work on Canvas as well, and we can talk about that in the Q&A session as well. So make sure to check out this additional material as well. Lastly, of course, a reminder, I mentioned this in previous weeks as well. Please submit the first draft of your final paper for peer review on Canvas by the end of December 2nd. Okay, so we have our Q&A session on Wednesday, and by the end of the day you have to submit your first version of the final paper. And as I mentioned, this first version will not be graded by me. You won't get a grade, so it's not a big problem if your paper is not quite ready yet. But the more advanced this paper already is, the better, the more useful it will be for you, because what will happen is that these papers will be distributed to the peer reviewers that you were already matched with in when we discussed your final project proposals, and they will then prepare comments for you, which will be due the week after. So when we meet again for the Q&A session in next week, we will then talk about your final projects, and you'll have written comments by your peer reviewers, and then you'll get additional comments by me, and then you'll have another week to complete your final paper and then actually submit in. And that's the version that will ultimately be graded or counted towards your final grade. Right? So this is the first deadline, but it's a soft deadline in the sense that the version that you submit here is just to get some feedback, to revise your paper, your final project, and then ultimately 2 weeks later you'll have to submit the final version that will actually count towards your grade. Okay, so that's the to-do list for this week. In the next video, I'm going to talk about pre-registered research designs.